All right, let's get into it. Today, we're breaking down Mark Manson's mega bestseller, a book that pretty much flips the entire self-help industry on its head. So I want you to forget everything you've heard about positive thinking, because we're about to explore a very, very different way to live a good life.
You know how most self-help books are, right? They're all about how to get more money, more happiness, more friends. But Manson argues that our culture's constant obsession with more is actually the very thing making us feel empty. This book is a guide on how to let go.
And that leads us to the book's central kind of mind-bending question. How can wanting a positive experience actually be a negative experience? I know, it sounds like a riddle, but let's unpack it.
So, the first huge idea Manson hits us with is this concept of a positivity paradox. It's the idea that our desperate attempt to be positive all the time can seriously backfire.
He calls it the feedback loop from hell. And you've definitely been there. It's when you feel anxious, and then you start feeling anxious about being anxious. Or you feel sad, and then you get angry at yourself for feeling sad. Suddenly, you're trapped in this downward spiral. And of course, social media throws gasoline on this fire, right? You see everyone else's highlight reel, and it just makes you feel worse about your own behind-the-scenes reality.
And this is where things get really interesting. Manson introduces a philosophical idea called the backwards law. Think about it. Desperately wanting to be rich only makes you feel more poor. Desperately wanting to be happy just reinforces how unhappy you feel right now. The paradox is that accepting a negative experience, just saying, you know what, I feel kind of crappy today, and that's okay, is in itself a positive experience.
To really hammer this point home, Manson tells the story of an unlikely role model. Maybe anti-hero is a better word for him, the writer Charles Bukowski.
Get this, these were the words etched on his gravestone. Don't try. I mean, that sounds like the absolute worst advice ever, doesn't it? But for Bukowski, it was the secret to his entire life.
See, we love to spin this American dream story about Bukowski, the guy who fought against all odds and never gave up. Manson says that's totally wrong. The reality? The man was an alcoholic, a womanizer, a total deadbeat. His success didn't happen because he was trying to be a winner. It happened because he was brutally honest about being a loser. He just owned it.
So, and this is the crucial part, don't try doesn't mean be a lazy slob. It means stop trying to be someone you're not. Bukowski didn't give a damn about what other people thought success should look like. That freed him up to be his raw, authentic, and yeah, kind of messed up self. And that's what people found so compelling.
Okay, so if chasing happiness is a trap, then what are we supposed to do? Well, this brings us to the next big shift in perspective. Manson says we have to completely redefine what happiness even is. And for this, he uses the story of the Buddha. You might know it. He starts as a prince, completely shielded from any kind of suffering, and he's miserable. So then he tries the opposite, embraces extreme hardship as an ascetic, and finds that's just as empty. His huge realization? Suffering isn't avoidable. It's just a fundamental part of life. It's a feature, not a bug. This quote right here is a total game changer. The goal isn't to have a life with no problems, because that's impossible. The goal is to have better problems. You know, a billionaire and a broke student both have money problems. But I think we can all agree the billionaire has a better class of problems to deal with. So here it is, happiness isn't something you find or achieve. It's not a destination. It's the process of solving the problems you've chosen to take on. It's an action, a constant activity.
But this is where we usually trip up. We fall into one of two traps. Either we're in denial, just pretending our problems aren't there, or we adopt a victim mentality, where we blame everyone else and feel totally powerless. And yeah, both of those lead nowhere.
Okay, so if life is about solving problems, how in the world do you pick which ones are worth your energy? This brings us to the really practical part of the book, the 3 subtleties of not giving a fuck. Okay, first, not giving a fuck doesn't mean you're indifferent. Indifference is just a mask for fear. It means you're comfortable being different for the sake of something you value. Second, to be able to shrug off the small stuff, you have to be obsessed with something much, much bigger. And third, you have to realize that you're always choosing what you care about. Maturity is just getting better at choosing wisely. Think of it like this. You have a finite budget of fucks to give throughout your life. It's your most precious resource. So are you going to waste them on a rude cashier or a TV show that got canceled? Or are you going to reserve them for what truly, deeply matters to you? And this all builds to the final and I think most powerful idea in the whole book.
It's a direct challenge to our culture's endless obsession with being exceptional.
The book just comes right out and says it. You are not special. Now, listen, that's not meant to be an insult. It's meant to be liberating. Because that constant crushing pressure to be extraordinary, it's a huge source of anxiety for so many of us.
Manson calls this the tyranny of exceptionalism. The media only ever shows us the two extremes of the bell curve, the amazing successes and the catastrophic failures. But the truth is, most of human life happens right here, in the big, messy, average middle. And when we believe that being exceptional is the new normal, we just set ourselves up to feel inadequate.
So what's the solution? Well, it's kind of like eating your vegetables. It's not flashy, but it's what's actually good for you. Real emotional health comes from accepting that life is, for the most part, pretty ordinary. And that's okay.
And here's the final, beautiful paradox of it all. As soon as you accept your own average, mundane existence, you're free. The pressure is off. You can finally go out and do the things you actually want to do, without the crippling fear of not being amazing enough. You can just do the work.
So I'll leave you with that question to think about. It's really the core of the whole book. If you just let go of the need to be extraordinary, what would you finally be free to do? What good problems would you finally choose to solve?